Rob, here we are, a sixth successive year. It doesn't get any easier, but what are the emotions, what are the feelings building into another Twickenham final?
It feels pretty good. It feels pretty good. It doesn't yet feel like it did last week. Last week it felt pretty electric. It was a really good feeling around the whole week. I said to a few people, it's rare for me to talk like that. I never thought we were going to lose to Sale in the semi-final. You could feel it in the week, you feel it in the players, in their body language. They're talking to each other, they drive through things. I normally will feel like that feeling today on the Wednesday. That's why I felt very much last week in the Sale game. I felt on the Wednesday, I thought it felt bang on. I think we'll feel like that again today in training. I'm expecting that after our last team meeting. I can feel the lads already. It's just now, in the first few days of the week, you have to control the kind of giddiness of getting there and all the excitement of being to the final, to how you're locked down to make sure you're the team that can give yourself the best chance of winning it. And that's our job now in these last few days of the week.
You talked about the emotion. You could see it, as you say, last week. Boys were hurting for some of their teammates, but there was also that energy that they wanted to get out there. They want to get back to London. They want to be playing in finals and winning things.
Yeah, I mean they're all driven by different things. You know, that's the truth. You know, they're all slightly emotionally different men, and so it's not the same for any one of them. It's not for me to talk for them all. But I think there was a variety of things going on that they decided to collectively come together about. And when they decide to collectively come together, they're a pretty tough machine to stop. That's what happened, and that's what we've got to make sure happens again this weekend if we want to win. Because there's no doubt, you've got to be a fool if you didn't watch the Quins Bristol game. You know, Bristol have been a good team this year. They've beaten most sides, including us. And Quins made them look pretty ordinary for a good chunk of that game. And we've got to make sure we don't ever look ordinary in the game. That means us focusing on being the best versions of ourselves we can be. That's what I've got to hope the experience of the previous finals gives us, that the best version of ourselves is pretty good and can win games. But you do have to drive it, and you have to stick at it, and you do have to be able to revert to it and bring yourself back to it when you feel under pressure.
A lot of that squad have played in big finals before. They've been to Twickenham. There's a couple there that haven't. How do you go about getting them in the right frame, or will the guys around them bring them into shape almost?
No, I think you need to let those guys. That's where you need to let those guys have that different motivation. You know, their motivation is this is my first final. This is a huge occasion for me, but you just have to remind them the same stuff as everybody else. That right, we'll use your motivation for today to make you the best player in our systems and in what we do that you can. That will allow you to thrive. It'll allow the team to thrive. It'll allow you to have the best experience and hopefully give you the best opportunity to win, because that's all you can do in any game, is give yourself the best opportunity to win, whether it's the first game of the season or whether it's the final. And that's what we've got to lock down to. We've got to lock down to giving ourselves the best opportunity to win by, as I say, being the best versions of ourselves.
What of Quins? They're a different side to what we faced even halfway through the season. They're much changed, but as we saw last weekend, they're dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't tell you what they've changed because I don't know. I'm not part of the Harlequins camp. But the one thing you do hear the players talking about is they feel very comfortable with how they're playing. They're enjoying playing the way they're playing. They feel comfortable with the style, and that makes any team dangerous. I've said this numerous times. Once a team feels comfortable and they can play with a smile on their face, it makes them dangerous. And you can tell by last week, that they're a team capable of scoring points. I would like to say we're normally a team that's capable of stopping teams scoring points, but we had a 70-pointer here against Sale. I would never have said pre-game that game was going to have 70 points in it, just based on the defensive records of the two teams, but it did, and so it shows you that we've still got some work to do based on scoring ourselves, but also on locking down the opposition.
Equally, we saw last week and the week before the difference that fans can make, and this final, unlike last year, will have fans.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of frustration around only 10,000 people being there, which I can understand. Especially when you look at a 80-odd thousand seater stadium and what's happening in other sports. I've had a few messages of frustration, and I can understand it. But at the same time, if you do look at the positives, we played there last year in a what could you call it? In a monsoon, cold rainstorm without a single supporter there, and the weather. There might be a bit of rain about. Looking at the forecast, but the weather's going to be warm. It's going to be pretty nice. It's going to be 10,000 people there. It will feel different. And more than anything else, the players will have friends and family there, and to show what they're capable of doing in front of friends and family should mean a lot, and it should be a big driver for us.
Team news wise, you just told the media you're pretty much fully stocked as you can be. Richard Capstick's come through as well, which is
At this stage, midweek, he's as far through the return to play protocols as he can be, which is obviously a good sign. Obviously, the way it works, he's had limited opportunities to train, but that will progress as the week goes on. Hopefully we can declare him fit, and that would mean we'd have the fully functioning group of players we had last week.